Welcome to Native Bidaské, Native News Online's weekly spotlight on the people making news and leading change in Indian country.
Welcome to another edition of Native Bidaské. I'm Levi Rickert, your host, and we have two special guests with us today, but let me just talk about Sam McCracken, a tribal citizen of the Fort Peck, Assiniboine, and Sioux tribes of the Fort Peck Reservation, northeastern Montana. He's the founder and general manager of Nike's N7 division and serves as vice president of N7 Fund. Ian Hamilton is the global vice president of partnerships at U.S. Sports Camps. Recently, it was announced that N7 and U.S. Sports Camp are collaborating to increase Native youth participation in sports. They co-host free community-based camps for Native youth of all genders, backgrounds, and experience levels, providing hands-on coaching from top local and national leaders to make a lasting difference. Sam McCracken and Ian Hamilton are special guests this week. Welcome to both of you, Sam and Ian. How are you two doing?
Great.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us today, Levi. I'll introduce in my traditional way. I come from the Assiniboine Sioux people from the Fort Peck Indian Reservation. It's an honor to be here with you, Levi.
Thank you, Sam. And before we start talking about the collaboration, I would like you to tell the viewers who may not be familiar with what N7 does and how you founded it. And you guys have done some great work, literally raised millions of dollars for scholarships for Native youth. So tell us about what you've been doing for the last several years, Sam.
Well, I just completed my 28th year at Nike, 25 in the current role as GM of the brand called Nike N7. Started from humble beginnings in regards to just a wellness program, really to provide access to products to tribal communities to address health disparities. And then it's evolved into the launch of the Air Native, N7 shoe for folks with neuropathy, to a full-fledged brand, the N7 Fund, which is which collaborates with sport camps to do this amazing work to inspire kids to be active and move. Just a few things I've been working on over the last 25 years.
Yeah, I find that shoe very interesting because a lot of people don't realize there was a shoe that was specially made for Native Americans. And I think I saw it at the local clinic I go to, the Nottawassippi here on Potawatomi clinic here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I live. And whereas I have full insurance and I still love to support that local. I'm going to give a shout out for them. They do a great job, but they were pushing your shoe. And as I recall, it had something to do with diabetes as well. Is it tied to diabetes? And I know you already mentioned.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It really evolved from a conversation I had with our Nike Sports and Research Lab back in 2004. And then they saw the opportunity to innovate something very uniquely special for our tribal community members who have the onsets of type 2 diabetes. And part of those complications that come with type 2 diabetes is the onsets of neuropathy. And those are the folks that we went into the communities and we did the foot scans and thought we could create something that would give them more confidence and insurance that, they weren't going to receive any blisters or be a little bit more comfortable as they started to address the physical activity component of addressing type 2 diabetes.
Well, I think that's really very, very, very cool, and it's like you guys really walk the talk, right? Just do it, right? I love that. So, hey, let's tell viewers about the Nike's Native community-based N7 and U.S. Sports Camp collaboration. Ian, let's go to you first.
Yes. So first of all, Sam and I have known each other for quite a long time from our days at Nike, and it's been an honor for us to help them put these camps together for these kids. U.S. Sports Camps has been in the camp business for 50 years, and we work with coaches all over the country, mostly on college campuses and some clubs and some community-based programs. But when Sam reached out with with the N7 program and what they wanted to do in some of the Native communities, and needing our expertise in terms of the operational side of running a camp, where the actual execution and the getting coaches to the camps, setting up stations, and providing the opportunity for the kids to just show up and have a great experience. It was, of course, we welcomed it, and partnering with N7 on this it's what we're all about. All of our camps, or the vast majority of our camps, are skill development camps in all sports across the board. And it's for us to have a chance to lend our expertise to N7 and put on these camps for kids, be it a multi-sport camp, a football camp, a baseball camp, depending on what it is. It's what we do and what we do best. So combining our resources with Sam's resources at N7 and giving these kids an experience where they get a chance to experience sport and activity and learn from some of the best coaches. It's an incredible opportunity, and we're just super happy to be involved.
Yeah. Sam, what were your thoughts on this collaboration? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working, and I'll give a little historical context. Our first really monumental moment with partnering with U.S. Sport Camps was at the 2023 Super Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona, where we partnered with Ak-Chin, Gila River, and Salt River tribes to do a multi-sport 3-day camp experience for the youth in the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. And that was just the kickoff, and we've done other camps with them in regards to major sport moments for Nike, and really engaging our youth into those major sports moments. With all of that, we did a partnership with the Muckleshoot tribe and around the MLB All-Star game in Seattle. Then we came back and did a sport camp with the Fort Mojave community around the Super Bowl in Vegas, back to the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma around the All-Star game in Texas. And then this last year, we did a partnership with them in regards to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, where we had the 8 surrounding tribes in the greater Louisiana, New Orleans area all come in. We had about 150 kids there, had NFL athletes there. It was fantastic. But Levi, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this past summer, I do a youth summit every year. It's a personal thing for me, back on the Fort Peck Indian Reservation in Poplar, Montana. And this year I was able to ask Ian and the team if they would be willing to come out and inspire the youth on the community where I grew up. And we had about 80 kids out at Poplar High School football field. And for that moment, it's what really kind of filled my heart, with the lack of a better term, of seeing our kids have an amazing experience that normally wouldn't get it in a rural community like Poplar, Montana. So that's a little bit of my reflection on my partnership with Sport Camps.
No, that's great, and it sounds like you're reaching various sports. Native, going way back to Jim Thorpe, right? Greatest world's greatest athlete. I still hold to that. These
Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, these kids are very talented in sports. There's that basketball, and so thank you for the work that you're doing. How many kids really participate annual basis?
I'll just take a stab, and I'll let Ian take a stab as well. But roughly, when we did the first major one we did in Phoenix, we had 200 kids at each camp. So we did 3 camps. We did a camp around football, and we did one for baseball, and then we did an all-sport camp, and we had about 200 kids at each one of the 3 events that we did. We hosted in celebration of the Super Bowl being in Phoenix, Arizona. So that's an average of that's on the high side. Like I said, in Fort Peck, we had 80 kids there from a rural community, which I felt was hugely successful. So it just varies from community to community. Muckleshoot, we had about 125 kids.
That's great, and Sam, we both can attest to the fact that Native Americans, we've made a lot of progress the last generation. Maybe the result of Indian gaming and other things, Indian people becoming more educated. But there's still problems that our youth face. What would you say the single most difficult issue that Native American youth face today?
You know, I'm far from an expert, but just what I've observed um, is I don't I would say one of the things that sticks close to my heart is we have kids taking their lives at a young age, and
Yeah.
I think that's really important that we show there's hope and inspiration, and that's what we do with my youth camp that I do back in Fort Peck. Is I use the philosophy that you can't be it if you don't see it. So I invite folks to come and interact and engage with the kids from a variety of different backgrounds, all indigenous, all coming back to give back to the community where I grew up. And I think that's an important thing for me to continue to do as part of my legacy with tribal communities across is really show kids that there's hope out there. And if a guy like me from a rural Indian reservation in northeastern Montana can have a 28-year career at Nike, then I think any of those kids could probably do that.
That's a great answer. And Ian, tell me this. Experts tell us that sports really do help make the difference in kids' lives, keep them on the straight and narrow, as they say, correct?
Yeah, I think there's no question that when you can provide sort of an aspirational, inspirational model for kids, and Sam has been fantastic with bringing athletes, Nike athletes, N7 athletes to these events. So at Fort Peck, we had an Olympian there that I don't think that any of the Native kids would have ever thought that a Native kid would have a chance to experience the Olympics. And one thing I also want to point out is when Sam mentioned all the various sites that we've been to, they vary from the Muckleshoot community in Seattle, which has brand new facilities with AstroTurf fields and a K through 12 school. And then you go to Fort Peck, and we're on a football field that where the grass needs to be mowed. But I'll tell you the one thing that shows through: the kids don't notice, and it doesn't matter. They don't care where they are. They don't care if the grass needs to be mowed or if it's AstroTurf. They're out there having fun. We're there to make the experience for the kids, something that they're going to remember and hopefully inspire them to get moving and to get engaged in sport, and to, as Sam says, see that there's opportunity outside of the communities that they live in, and that out in the world they can make things happen. And Sam's had a phenomenal career at Nike, and we just want to try and continue doing what Sam started, on our behalf with U.S. Sports Camps, and continue doing things with N7 and continue providing these opportunities for kids, because there's just no question that it inspires the kids. And what we want to do is continue to have them think about, engaging in activity, whether it's sports or education or music or whatever it could be, that there are opportunities outside of what they see in their communities, inside the communities.
Yeah, that's so important. And Sam, why don't you chime in here, talk about how sports really make a difference in Native kids' lives?
Well, I think it's evident that sport changes lives, but Levi, I think there's nothing more powerful than seeing a smile on their face, and when they come to these camps at the end, to see them smiling and happy and energized, I think is the winning solution for us to continue to do this work. And I think that's a really important component, and I think sport does that for our communities. As you know, basketball is a very prominent sport in our community, and we're just introducing them to other opportunities around these all sport camps, and experiencing just the importance of physical activity around wellness and healthy lifestyles. So I think that's what I close with is when I go to those camps and I see the kids' face at the end, and there's a huge smile, and they get a T-shirt and they walk away, I feel like they walk away fulfilled.
Yeah, I love that, and seeing those smiles on those kids' faces, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey Sam, I do have a question. It's not part of my script, but I just thought of it. Do Native kids who wear Nikes perform better at sports?
That's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah,
they perform better when they wear Nike N7 sneakers.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
There's your plug, Sam.
I love it. Hey, how will this collaboration between N7 and U.S. Sports help level the playing field for Native youth? You may have already touched on it a little bit, but Ian, let's go to you.
Well, the way we level the playing field is that we bring the camp to the kids. The kids really don't have to go anywhere. Where our normal business consists of camps mostly on college campuses, as I mentioned earlier. But with the camps that we've been doing with Sam at these various locations inside the Native communities, we basically bring what we do, which is running camps, providing the curriculum, providing the staff, and basically running the activities for the kids. We bring that to the community, so the kids don't have to go anywhere. So we make the experience possible, and as Sam said, it's free for all the kids in the communities to come. And the average camp is probably over 100 kids. The Phoenix event, which was 3 specific events, as Sam said, we had over 250 kids. And I just have to agree with everything that both of you said, that the reward that we get is seeing the smiles on the kids' faces. I've been to the vast majority of these camps, and it's what we do, and it puts smiles on the kids' faces when you see them moving. And some kids aren't wearing shoes at all. Most of the kids are wearing Nikes, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. They're having fun. They're making friends. They're out there. And one of the things I've noticed is that the culture amongst these Indian community or the Native communities is, the older kids and the younger kids interacting with each other. I noticed it in Seattle, where we had a little delay and the kids were all sitting around and all the kids were together, and the older kids took it upon themselves to start a game of duck, duck, goose with the younger kids. I mean, you just don't see that. And they were all just having fun, and what they were doing was basically killing time while we were waiting for the event to get started. But to see that interaction amongst all the different age groups of the kids, and they're just having fun, and they took it up on their own. That was an impressive thing for me to see, just in terms of how the Native youth are interacting with each other, and it really is. It's something to see, and something you just don't see every day.
Yeah. And Sam, let's have you tell us how you feel the playing field is being leveled.
Well, I think these kids are getting an opportunity to see some of the best athletes in the world come and help mentor them. So, for instance, when we were in Phoenix, we did the football camp. We had 8 to 10 NFL athletes who were there, come and just interact and engage with them, a variety of different areas. When we were in Seattle, we had softball player Silent Rain Espinosa come and talk to the kids about softball and baseball stuff. So I think just giving those kids the visibility and opportunity. I know that Ian was talking about the one we did in Fort Peck. I had a good friend and potential Olympic athlete, Janae Casavor, hammer thrower. She came and talked to the kids, and just to see the kids react to these athletes, I think it helps show them what's possible, and that's where the playing field gets leveled, is when they see the opportunity of hope that there's people that look just like them doing amazing things. And I'll continue to hammer on that.
Yeah. And Sam, you what was your first job at Nike? I think this is really interesting. I don't think most people know it.
Yeah. I was hired to drive a forklift and load footwear from the trucks, and then sort them on the pallet by size and color. So that's what I started at. And then I had the opportunity to revitalize our Native American Employee Network, which then led to the opportunity for me to write the business plan in 1999 to start this work that I've done for the last 25 plus years.
Well, I want to compliment you personally. I've admired you and the work that you've done at Nike for all these years, and what an amazing career. And a lot of our viewers know this. It's hard to penetrate corporate America if you're Native American, and it's said that there's still 40% of Native or Americans don't even realize there are Native Americans alive. So the idea that you've gotten as far as you did at Nike, I'm just really like I said, I'm an admirer of yours. So congratulations. Now, you've announced your retirement and at the end of last year, and tell us about it. What are you going to do? You're not just going to fade off in.
Well, yeah, I did, and I'm excited for what the future holds. But more importantly, I made that decision with a very conscious effort to make sure that the next generation was prepared to take the torch and continue to run it. So N7 is in really good hands, and to have another Native in corporate America just taking the reins and going with it. And for me, after I'm going to take a little time off. Ian and I have had some conversations around what we potentially can continue to do, and use my network of community members that I know that could continue to bring the vision and inspiration I had with N7 and take it beyond and continue to do the work that fills my heart. And it's really stems from me going home 4 years ago and starting the Fort Peck Tribal Youth Summit and having that kind of fulfillment for me as a Native leader, see those kids. And so there might be a model out there that I can take to other tribes and other communities, but still a lot of work to be done. But Levi, first and foremost, I'm gonna take a little time for myself, the rest of the year and reflect on all the stuff that's already happened. So I'm excited. My last event, I'm going to be, I don't know when this is going to air or not, but I'll be at the Indian Market in August, and then NAFOA in September. So those are my last two major events representing N7.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't want to see you just disappear on us.
We're not going to let that happen, Levi.
Good. He's such a strong voice in Indian country. We need all the inspiration we can get. So
no, we're gonna keep him around. We'll let him take some time to himself, but we want to keep this thing going. And Sam and I talked about it, and it's just as we have discussed on this call, it's too beneficial to these kids that we want to keep this going. And we at U.S. Sports Camps, it's been a really worthwhile endeavor for us to lend our expertise to these events, and we want to keep it going because everything that we're talking about on this call is really what it's all about. At the end of the day, is getting kids involved, whether they're Native kids or whether they're non-Native kids or just kids in general. It's we have to get them involved in sport, and we have to get them moving and doing things. As I said, it's an aspirational, inspirational type experience for the kids. And if they walk away wanting to do something, whether they decide, I want to go out for the team or I want to try this sport, whatever it is, we've done our job, right, Sam? I mean, I think that's what the goal is. And we get, just because Sam's retiring, we can't just let this thing go.
No, that's for sure. And as you were talking, I was thinking about, we've had some really good athletes, notable. You think about Billy Mills and Sam. Before we let you go, who's one of your favorite all-time Native Americans?
You're asking me like to select my favorite kid. I've had the fortunate opportunity in my career to work with Billy, who's a good friend. The very first athlete that helped represent N7 was a guy by the name of Native Bidaské III. So Noah and I are still really, really close friends, and this is that's my family. All these athletes that came in through, I can rattle them all off to you. But they're all part of it. They're all they've all came. Most of them have made the trip to Fort Peck in the last 4 years to talk to our kids because they all believe in the mission and vision that we created with N7 is really to inspire and enable Indigenous youth to see the opportunity that sport provides them, and I think it's really important to make their dreams real.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and as I said, thank you very much for the good work you've done, and good luck in your retirement, and Godspeed, and all that good stuff. And I have the Creator watch over you. And Ian, thank you very much for coming on, and we appreciate it. And to our viewers, thank you very much, Chief McWitch, for tuning in to another edition of Native Bidaské. We've been talking to Sam McCracken and Ian Hamilton about the great work they're doing in Indian sports. So Sam is retiring from Nike, but he's telling us he's not going to go away and he's going to take some time for himself. So we appreciate it. And as I like to tell you every week, elders take care of those young ones, and young ones give your elders a hug. We're all in this together. So, Chimagwich, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. If you value our warrior journalism for Indian Country, please consider supporting our work by scanning the QR code or visiting the link below. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and sign up for our free daily newsletter.